Shalom, first and foremost, all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Harakak Wadash. Double honor to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone, and greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you, elect. Shalom unto you. Brush the quad with a video. Just want to start off this video by playing a few of these videos that kind of hit points about what we're currently going through. Okay, I'm gonna start at this one here. This is off the page Arrows of Indignation 144, and they do have a disclaimer at the beginning, so fair use, fair use, fair use. And without further ado, I'll play these three videos. One will be 526, another one will be 510, and then 634. But they're all important information, and I figured put them in there, hit a few precepts, and Lord willing, it's edifying. So without further ado. All right, here we go again. Fair use, fair use, fair use. All right. You can see the name of it.
Black women, don't you dare. This is a direct...
Congratulations, you just became an agent of white supremacy. The very thing you despise is the very thing you're perpetuating. See, I scrolled through some of your videos, and as you doubled and tripled down on many of them, I came to realize that you're just very ignorant on the subject altogether. And I really do hope you actually take the time to listen to this. When it comes to those voting polls, let me explain how it works. Let's say you got 1 million people in a group. Out of that 1 million people, let's say they pulled 100 people from mostly red states aside and asked them who they voted for, and 56 out of that 100 people said that they voted for Trump. Then the media gets a hold of those numbers and say, wow, 56 out of 100 people that were asked that question voted for Trump. And then they go around pushing that 56% of people voted for Trump. They don't make it clear that it was 56% of the people that were polled, and then they don't even tell you exactly how many people were polled. Now please tell me how 56 out of 100 people who were asked a question is indicative of the entire 1 million people in that group. So if you would like to learn how many people were actually polled in those exit polls, maybe go do some research and find out. And then Google how many of us actually live in the United States. And then find out how many of us are actually eligible to vote. Because undocumented migrants cannot vote. DACA recipients cannot vote. Green card holders cannot vote. Visa holders cannot vote. Asylum seekers cannot vote. And who's going to be most affected? All of those people I just named. You made the statement that Hispanics are racist to the black community. First of all, those brown Hispanics, those brown Latinos are actually indigenous people to these lands. They are Native American. We are Native American who have been reclassified to make it look like our people are almost non-existent. We are, in fact, the majority of this entire continent. So how is it that indigenous people, brown people...
Yes, I'm gonna jump in real quick there and say, little did you know that we're all the children of Israel. So-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans are all the children of Israel. Okay? And I'm going to try to let this play throughout. And we're brothers, and we are under a curse, okay, of having an evil eye toward one another, of seeing each other as an enemy. And even though we share more common bond within each other than any other 2 or 3 groups on the planet, any two or three races or nations or whatever on the planet. To continue.
People of color like you. How can we be racist to black people? How do we oppress you? Systemically. What system did we create that oppressed black people? Oh, wait, that's right. We didn't, and we don't. So no marginalized community of color can be racist, because that same system that oppresses you oppresses my people, and always has. Now, you also can't go around preaching about not generalizing the black community when you are generalizing other communities yourself. And just like the quote-unquote Latino community, the black community has Trump supporters too. And just like the black community, who is not a monolith, and how not all people believe the same, think the same, or hold the same political ideologies, neither neither does the Latino community. Matter of fact, our community has white people, black people, Asian people, Native people, and hundreds of ethnic groups. But the people being targeted are the brown people, the indigenous people to here. And just like how...
Yeah, I don't know if we all caught what she just said, but we all got to understand the immigrant population of this country are all the nations that are here, except the the Northern Kingdom Jakes, all right? But you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're the ones that are being targeted, particularly the Hispanics, the Latinos, and then now the natives also, okay? And who do you think's next? Okay, common sense will tell you who's next, especially once you realize we're all the same family in the first place. But you'd have to understand the Bible, but that's what these videos are for.
People's history has been whitewashed and damn near erased. So has the history of indigenous people here. I want you to think back and ask yourself, how much Native American history did you actually learn? How much Mexican history did you actually learn? And then ask yourself why you haven't learned it. Before you try to speak on historical events that you obviously don't know anything about, understand this: black and brown unity and solidarity have always been a thing. We have been fighting for each other for 400 plus years. And the times we have turned on each other is because of agents in our own communities making us fight each other but perpetuating.
Got something real quick. I'm gonna bring up a book, very good read. Okay, which is this book right here, man. Very good book. Okay, very good book. All right. They're Black Indians. Okay, shows you that we were all mingled together and we all worked together and lived together. All right, important something to know. And I'll just keep it basic as that. But like I said, very good read. All right. Should I pick up another one pretty soon anyway. All right.
Why you haven't learned it. But before you try to speak on historical events that you obviously don't know anything about, understand this: black and brown unity and solidarity have always been a thing. We have been fighting for each other for 400 plus years. And the times we have turned on each other is because of agents in our own communities making us fight each other by perpetuating white supremacy. Like you. You want to play oppression Olympics by claiming black people are treated the worst. I'm not sure why you want to play these Olympics and why you want the trophy. I don't know anybody who wants to be the most oppressed. This tells me you're still in a very much colonized mindset and not a revolutionary one. See, every time they were done with us, they then projected all their hate for us onto the black community. When they arrived in these lands in 1492, they started enslaving us right off the bat. They started taking us back to Europe before they even brought Africans over here. They were already genociding us. When they were losing too many of us, they went to Africa and picked your ancestors up and brought them to here. Every time they displace us, every time they remove us from our lands, it aids in our genocide. They need our resources, and they can't have indigenous people standing in their way. Mass deportations are aiding in indigenous people's genocide. And when they're done with us, they won't have a need for you. So who you think is next?
Okay, it's the next video here. All right. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Very good information. Oh, I didn't hit it on that one. And let's hop into it.
Breaking news out of Texas. A Texas land commissioner is offering to sell thousands of acres of land in the state to the Trump administration for the purposes of building mass detention camps. The original offer was around 1,400 acres, but now she's amending it to increase it even more. If you think this sounds like Germany in the 1930s, you're actually not far off. But who would do it and who's going to pay for it? ICE certainly doesn't have the funding. We can barely deport the people who are sitting in prisons convicted of actual felonies. There's no way that Trump can realistically and legally utilize the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to do it because we're not actually at war with people who are living in the United States. And we also know that utilizing the National Guard in order to work domestic affairs rather than what they're supposed to be doing isn't exactly a walk in the park. Considering Texas elections are coming up in 2026, this seems like a MAGA marketing ploy in order for the commissioner to be reelected, so good luck.
I've seen a lot of people confused about the fact that Native Americans are being picked up by ICE, and they're like, where are they even going to deport them to? Oklahoma? I need you to get like 2 steps ahead. Mass deportations is exactly how it started in 1930s Germany, until they conveniently realized that they had nowhere to actually deport these people to. So what did they do? They invested in building detention centers, which we now know as concentration camps. That's exactly what they did. There's a reason that Native Americans were brought up in the birthright citizenship argument. It was not a mistake that Native Americans were picked up. They are planning for it. They are also going to use the excuse that Mexico is turning away all of the deportees as another reason why they need to build more detention centers. And don't get me wrong, I'm not mad at Mexico. Other countries need to be fighting back as well. That's not the point of this. But they are going to use it as an excuse to give government contracts to private prison companies to build more detention centers. That is the plan. It is why private prison companies are investing so heavily in congresspeople's campaign funds and why congresspeople are investing so heavily in private prison systems stocks. AOC literally just commented on this. That is the plan. The plan is concentration camps. They are going to find loopholes in laws like the Patriot Act, which allow for people to be stripped of their due process if it's a national security concern. And they're going to find loopholes like the 13th Amendment that allows for slavery in prison. And they're going to use those loopholes to charge these people with crimes that have life sentences, no due process, and they are going to use them for slave labor. They are planning concentration camps. Please get ahead.
Trump admin questions Native Americans' birthright citizenship in court. And I read the article. This is not clickbait. This is very real. As some of you may or may not know, Trump is trying to attack birthright citizenship, specifically targeting immigrant families. And they're trying to get this through by referring back to a Civil Rights Act of 1866, using the quote, all persons born in the United States and not subject to any foreign power, excluding Indians not taxed. Yeah, that's the quote that they picked out. And here from the Trump administration, this quote is basically saying, hey, this law thinks that Native Americans aren't citizens. So children of undocumented people shouldn't be citizens either. That is the quote. That is what this quote is saying.
So now they're questioning Native American birthright citizenship while also trying to strip away the 14th Amendment in order to eliminate the illegal migrants, which we all know that will extend to also Native Americans and then most likely African Americans as well. Since Native Americans are loyal to their tribe and they have their own treaties and everything, they would need to denounce their allegiance to their tribe, which is honestly a horrible thing. And this is not to be mean when I say this, and this is more
Now, one thing, how would they vet you by getting you to denounce? By giving you the MOTB, okay, the micro C hip, okay, that's how they vet you to allow you to stay here, okay, because that's coming for everybody. So this is gonna become an issue that's gonna be what solves it. The MOT to the B will be what solves it. Even though that's not the point of this video, just a small note how all this ties in to the reality, all right, that we're living in.
History. Native Americans should have stopped white people when they started putting their names on the Native American list. Now, while many people act like they don't know, there were many dark-skinned Native Americans. There were many Native Americans that were reclassified as Negro. And as they stripped away their rights to be Native American, they then forced their names onto the Native American census list. White people. That's why you see so many super white Native Americans with 1% Native. And many of them don't even have Native American blood. They're just lying about it.
Watch the movie Killers of the Flower Moon. It shows you a lot in that movie, a whole lot in that movie. Okay, I mean a whole lot in that movie. It's almost historical, but it's still even just one aspect and element of how Esau got the paperwork, to take over this country by the Native Americans. All right, the same paperwork that they couldn't just kill them and take them because they want to be able to use that same paperwork to give themselves the deeds and the rights to own that land. Heavy movie. It's 3 hours, but worth the watch.
Because their family's been on the list the whole time and they have been receiving benefits. And this is why you have to draw a line. And when you see one group of people getting treated bad, you need to stop it at the door. Because once they're done with them, they are coming for you.
Okay, just gonna throw it out there. The 1920s, okay? Won awards. All right, the overview. Real love crosses path with unspeakable betrayal as Molly Burkhart, a member of the Osage Nation, tries to save her community from a spree of murders fueled by oil and greed. All right, it's this movie here. De Niro, DiCaprio. Okay. Good movie. Very good movie. All right. Excellent movie. Okay. This was another way Esau was getting resources and the fat of the earth that he wanted to get from Jake, man, to try to assume his birthright back. So I'm gonna grab that even. Okay. In the scriptures, but let me go back and play this last video because it's really disturbing how we still have these two-third minded people out there that still see the separation between our people instead of the connection between them. Okay, crabs in a barrel, colonized mind state, as they were stating. Fair use, fair use, fair use. All right, not for monetary gain, as the others were not, but for educational purposes. All right.
We're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving general immunity to police officers so they can do
Really
their
nice
job.
people on both
We're
sides.
going to give immunity to police so they
Both
can do their
sides.
job. I'm giving general immunity to police officers so they can do their job. We're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving general immunity to police officers so they can do their job.
Oh my God.
Anyway, same guy that said one violent day, one really violent day would clean up Chicago. All right, but anyway, let's watch this. Jackie Harry imitation.
Oh my God. Why am I?
To police officers so they can do their job. We're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving general immunity to police officers so they can do their job.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Why am I seeing black folks on TikTok like tripping, like dead ass, like tripping, thinking that they're getting ready to get picked up by ICE? Why is this happening right now? What is going on? Why is this? Why is this mass formation psychosis going on? What is wrong with you? Seriously, what is wrong with you? Y'all stay safe out there. Y'all be careful looking over their shoulder, getting up, looking out the window. Scared about ICE raids? Why are you afraid if you... Negro, ain't nobody coming to get you. We are foundational black Americans. Do you not understand? See, this is the problem with these people.
See, Jake, one always and it be you proud as American Negroes, man. Okay, I don't have a cleaner way to say it, man. Without man, it frustrates you when you realize how you get so proud. It's the same way that the light skinned house niggas will get proud. The same way that the light skinned Hispanics will get proud. I'm not Mexican, I'm Spanish. All that extra stuff. My people come from Spain. I'm not from Haiti, I'm from France. The same thing. You still in their eyes, you still know you're not them. That's the point. And the people that you think you're connected to, these other Americans, the ones that rule over them, you know what we're talking about, the 48ers. All right? And if you don't know who that is, look in Revelation, the 3rd chapter, around the 9th verse, okay, to figure it out. But hey, you ain't them. Okay? That's what they know. You not of their people. Okay? They're the ones that really run things. You're not them. And so they don't have a problem getting rid of you. Okay? If it got down where they was, this how cold those people are when you really understand them. If they got rid of all the Jakes and all the other heathen nations, they would go after other white people too. Okay? So you got to understand that to get rid of you is just a formality. All right? But let her continue talking. And I'm already agitated by the way she talks. I watched this earlier and I was just But watch.
Hijacking Black history, and basically history overall. See, I don't like to talk about this divisive things like, oh, black over here, white over there, the Asian over here, this over there.
Yeah, well, the problem with that is that's how the world works, though. Okay, that's actually how the world works. Even if you don't want to look at the reality of the world by racial standards and conduct yourself accordingly, the rest of the world does. Okay, that doesn't mean everybody, but the world at large does. That's why there's a Chinatown. That's why there's a Koreatown. That's why there's a Little Italy. Okay, that's why there's all these different divisions of situations that go on. Okay, and it's according to race. That's why the same people that you like, why are you? Because we're in the same neighborhoods, under the same conditions. Okay? And if you be like I only know a few places, even growing up in LA, there's only a few places where so-called blacks and so-called browns wasn't in the same neighborhoods. But when you get into both of them neighborhoods, they were the same anyway. Okay, I've been in certain cities, Compton, Watts, different cities like that where you saw a heavy concentration of black people. Okay, a few accepted of the Hispanics in there. Okay, then I've been in Wilmington and different other Hispanic, East LA, different cities like that, where you see heavy Hispanic concentration and barely a few blacks, mingled in as well, accepted over there. All right, but it's the same conditions, the same situations that both people live in. And from what I've heard, the reservations are no different than that. Okay, with dark skin and light skin. Okay, this is not just your view of what you think it is. That doesn't mean just because you view the world a certain way that the whole world actually is that way. All right, it's why we bring out these scriptures, because the Heavenly Father who authored this and published it through great men wrote these prophecies down and wrote these situations down that can be applied even in today's time. Even in ancient times when they were written, were able to be written down and applied today. All right? And it supersedes your own personal slave mentality. All right?
But you're forcing me to do this because I have to clarify and I have to remind you of history. The 14th Amendment was intended after the Emancipation Proclamation, the freeing of the slaves under Abraham.
And anytime anybody brings up Emancipation Proclamation and freeing of the slaves, I gotta stop it because them are oxymorons. Let me get into that. Okay, this is the etym online. The verb emancipate. Okay, it says set free from control. Right, and that's what everybody's thinking. Put out of paternal authority. To emancipate as a parent from your parents, you can emancipate as a child. You can emancipate from your parents. I mean, you're set free of control of your parents, right? But you think that a lot of people think that's how that definition ends, but it's not. In Roman law, the freeing of a son or wife from the legal authority of a pater familias to make his or her own way in the world, from assimilated of X out away. Okay, deliver, transfer, or sell. Okay, ownership, transfer or sell, deliver, transfer or sell, ownership. Okay, and that's the one that really hits for the Emancipation Proclamation. Okay, that's the one that truly hits the hardest. Okay, because we were emancipated from the South to the North. And when you think of it in simple terms, we went from privatized property, okay, working on the plantations of individuals, to working in the factories of the Union, okay? That's pretty much what happened of the North, okay? They had all them factories and industrial revolution, and they didn't have enough everybody else to work them jobs. Plus, they wanted the higher up jobs to be the bankers and the different other jobs that were going on, but they still needed somebody to be in the factories, to still work the fields. So this was all what it was going out of. And it unified the country, so now the country can benefit off of selling the major products that the North was making. Okay, just a simple way to understand history. Okay, I'm going to go into emancipation also. A setting free. Sounds good. I already looked up emancipate. In modern use, especially of the freeing of a minor from parental control, specifically with reference to the U.S. slavery from 1785, the Emancipation Proclamation was issued July 22nd, 1862, effective January 1st, 1863, right, in Britain, with reference to easing of restrictions on Catholics, etc. Let's see if there's anything else. That was the point, all right? But that transfer is the one that you really got to understand that happened, because we're not free today. And what proves that is that you can't, how come we didn't just, go in the forest and chop down a bunch of wood and sail back to Africa? How come we didn't just drive down through Mexico or walk down through Mexico and just be over there, or up to Canada and be up there? Okay? And this is just a simple form of it. Now, there's a higher spiritual purpose for it, because we're in punishment of the Heavenly Father, and we were sent here to serve punishment. And this will be the deliverance place, the main deliverance for the elect of our people, Negro, Latino, and Native American. But let me go back to her talking, because whenever I see that, it's like, you don't know what you're talking about. People think that's what it was. They take, he who wins the wars writes the history books. Okay, so you think you're just going to take your slave master's perspective on history, and he going to tell the whole truth about himself. Stop that. Okay? Don't be gullible. Okay. The Emancipation Proclamation was a presidential decree issued by Abraham Lincoln on January 1st, 1863, that declared enslaved people in the rebellious states to be free. The proclamation was a key moment in the American Civil War and the beginning of the process of ending slavery in the United States. Too bad it never ended. Okay? Just checking. Okay, and is the word of it being ended, yeah, sounds good. But there were more lynchings that happened after then. Okay, so that's the fear part of it, and then we're tied into to society to where we have to work these things. We try to go and build cities like Rosewood and Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and what happens? The enslavement still is there. Okay, let's destroy what they're building for themselves, and conquer them in North Carolina. We're gonna just build a lake over it. I mean, all kind of things. There's still places here in the Americas now they're finding information about still today of what happened back then. Okay. Look, freed enslaved people in states rebelling against the Union allowed black men to serve in the Union military, strengthen the Union's military, and political position, because now you have people that are now, starting with the men in the ancient times and all the way up until today, the civil rights, women can now vote. So now you got two more voters. Well, three if you really want to think about it, from the 60s, but you got men that are now able to vote. Okay, black men along with white men able to vote. Then you go all the way forward, and now everybody can vote, including women. Okay, so white women and black women are now able to vote. All right, which means they're able to work, and which means they're able to be taxed. All right, reading on, strengthen. Inspired millions of Americans. Inspired. that's a separate thought. Wow, changed the nature of the war. Yep, gave the Union cause moral force. Who did it exempt? Tennessee, parts of Virginia and Louisiana occupied by the Union. Maryland, Delaware, Kentucky, and Missouri. The impact led to the 13th Amendment, which made slavery unconstitutional, but unless you're imprisoned. So here we go, talking about this thing, okay? So let's go back. The purpose I bring this out is so that for some of you that are coming into this thing, you don't just stop at face value at what people are saying. You're going and doing some research behind it, okay, and see what these things are meaning. Because a lot of our people didn't pay attention in school, okay, and it was only what they were telling us from their perspective anyway that you could tell a 10, 12, 15, 17-year-old. Okay, even up to the colleges, they don't really always give you the heavy, and until you start digging deeper into the books. Okay, doing deeper research. But when you're able to do this deeper research, you start to learn more and more. Okay, and the way the real information was it was passed down. That's how Jake passed information. Okay, orally. All right, so let's go back.
Lincoln. It was intended to give citizenship to freed black slaves. The problem is these modern day immigration attorneys hijacked it, and they are using it for illegal aliens. It does.
Before I even get into that, she said something about freed black citizens, right? And I'll never forget the gravity of this joke. I couldn't find it on the internet. I'd have to dig too deep, take too long. But it's in Chris Rock's special, comedy special. One of them, I don't remember exactly which one, Bigger and Blacker or whatever, I don't remember. But he said, I live in a prestigious neighborhood. Me, Jay-Z, and Mary J. Blige living there. My neighbor next to me is a white dentist. The gravity of that understanding, okay, is just you gotta understand the gravity of that. That wealth, that rich, that we see our entertainers and our celebrities having, it's a really, really, really small piece of our population. When the rich, not the wealthy, but just the rich of them is much larger amount of their people, much larger. The average are still make more than we do. Okay, and it's systemic. Okay, so she can make all these faces and eyes and argue for the greatness of America all you want. At the end of the day, Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans are still on the bottom. Now you can have, like the other lady said, I don't know why you fighting to be who's the most oppressed, because we're all three at the whole point is it doesn't matter if the Negroes have had the worst oppression or the Mexicans have had the worst oppression. Probably the Native Americans that have the worst oppression, even today. Okay, but the point is we're all still at the very bottom. If you put us all together, we're the last at the bottom, regardless of what order you may think that we're in. Once you put us together, you realize we're at the bottom, because the reason you're able to put us together because the Bible puts us together. Okay? But like I said, I'm not getting into that particularly, but I am trying to show the point that we're on the bottom, and this is for a purpose, and we're being oppressed together. All right? Let's keep playing.
Belong to them. They have no constitutional right to it. They are bound by the jurisdiction.
And you can do all these laws, and then, okay, you can think like you Moorish law people and all of that. Okay, man, we'll see if all that works when it really comes down to it. Argue that with a robot. Argue that with the NDAA in place. Argue that with all these other laws that he didn't sign and that he's going to sign and that he didn't execute and interpret a certain way. Okay, when the federal government has full immunity, the police have federal immunity, just keep doing that. Keep thinking that way. They're covering all bets to just come in and run down on Jake, man, and really initiate this Jacob's trouble. All right?
Jurisdiction of their parents. That has nothing
This
to
lady's
do
probably
with
native anyway.
us. Our families have been here for over 300 years. Over 300 years. What are you talking about? ICE is not interested in your black ass. Nobody's coming to get you. Woo, girl, bye. Ain't nobody coming to get you. Would you stop this ridiculousness? Stop letting these crazy, loony white liberals dictate your thought process. Why are you allowing these crazies, these psychotic fools, to steal your joy and your peace when you have nothing?
Now, I'd like to know what joy and peace that we really have here, because we can go to work, we can get jobs, because all of us don't have to be on the county. Okay, because all of us live in apartments instead of on the streets homeless. Okay, bundled up in these apartments, because some of us may have homes, because we can look up and see the same 25, 30, 50 people on the television screen. And I guarantee you, on the inside, yeah, they may have more physical things, monetary value than we do, but they don't have more than us. They're still oppressed. All them famous people are still oppressed. You see this Diddy list. You see how he's shaking up the world, the whole Hollywood with the whole Diddy thing. They just swept all them Epsteins and Weinsteins and all that and got swept under the rug. Ain't nobody thinking about them. But all you black entertainers are still under the heat because you went to a Diddy party and did some freaky shit. Okay? Not making light of that. Because all in all, the Heavenly Father's breaking all this thing down. But this mentality, we're going to watch people like her and people like this that think this way in dire straits when it comes down to it. And we're not far off from it. It'll be in this presidency. Lord willing, in this year.
Worry about what they're not targeting you. They are targeting these illegal aliens who have been, by the way, stealing your money and stealing your future.
They wasn't stealing it, they were giving it, dummy. I argue with this on this other app, man. It ain't that they were stealing it, but why would they deny it? They didn't steal it. Who was giving it? Who was giving it? They know you can't go in and steal. You're gonna steal 6,000 months of food, $6,000 a month, and thousands of dollars of food stamps. You can't steal that. They have to give it to you. They ain't stealing it. They're giving it to them to create right what you're creating. And it ain't us that's creating it, okay? It's people that are minded like this lady here, okay? That's creating this separation, this misunderstanding of what's really going on here. This old house Negro slave mentality. She's still pushing out there. Sound like the nigga off Birth of a Nation. You gonna kill us all. We all gonna get in trouble. Slave master dead over there. You gonna get us all in trouble. Okay? It's time to wake up out of this BS, man. This type of mentality. All right? And I'm saying this, those are in the know already. Okay, great. But those that haven't, that may stumble across a video like this, you gotta start getting the proper perspective on this type of rhetoric, man, on this type of information that comes out. Okay? If you don't acquire, or if the Heavenly Father doesn't give you, I should say, the proper biblical perspective on the world, you're lost in the sauce, man. You're gonna burn up when this place loses World War III, or one of the destructions that come prior to that, whether it be laser beams, whether it be famine, the sword, whatever. All right, I'm going to try to finish this out another 3 minutes or so. I'm going to try to let it play all the way through. But when certain situations arise, man, people say certain things and it's just so mentally so far off, it's hard to just let it pass. And I still got precepts after this.
Donald Trump is getting them up out of here and moving them out of the way so that you, as a young person, can buy a home like they used to back in the freaking day.
Stop.
Excuse you. This is the America First movement and what it truly entails. Oh my God. He has ushered
Says the woman with fake eyelashes.
in a renaissance, a financial renaissance, an innovation renaissance, a technology renaissance, a crypto renaissance. What the hell is wrong with you? Don't let these nut jobs who have their own personal interests attached steer you from supporting Donald Trump and what he is doing for this country. Nobody's
This great
coming
nation.
to get
Go
you.
and say it.
If you are a citizen, what part of citizen are you not getting? Please let me know in the comments. You do not have anything to be afraid of. You are a citizen of this great nation.
There it goes.
Nobody's targeting you. Stop it. Stop it. Black folks
Okay, mama.
who are black folks. I ain't talking about the tethers. You might have a little something to be a little nervous about. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about those of us who grew up on hog maws, collard greens, black-eyed peas, and cornbread. You know who I'm talking about. Those of us who grew up in a Black Baptist church where you got there at 8 in the morning and you ain't...
Amazing, she named all the slavery, grew up in the Baptist church, slavery minded. Grew up eating hog maws, chitlins, and fatback, and all the things, cornbread, slave mentality. Okay, this woman ain't gonna make it.
leave till 6 at night, and then you had to come back for Sunday Night of Joy. Please spare me anything else. We are not talking to you. You have nothing to worry about. I'm gonna need you to chill the hell out. Don't let these illegal aliens, because you see them crying on TV. Maybe they should have come here the legal right way, and they would not be looking over their shoulder and hiding in the dishwasher. It's got nothing to do with you. Stop freaking out. It's not your fight. Get out of the way.
Can't wait for this
And
internet
hey,
to be
if you
gone.
live in Missouri, there's $1,000 reward per illegal alien. So I would consider that and take it to the bank. Stop freaking out when you are a citizen. This is ridiculous.
So I'll let that ride and let you see that targeted Native Americans targeted, right? Pete. Okay, just want to bring this up real quick. Bounty hunters offered $1,000 to identify undocumented immigrants in proposed Mississippi bill. Okay, this is for every successful capture and send back, right?
They are very violent people. We also have many violent criminals in our country, however, that did not necessarily come here illegally, but have been arrested 30 times, 35 times, 41, 42 times in a couple of cases, 25 times, 18 times, many for murder, other heinous charges such as pushing people into subways. As the train's coming along at 45 miles an hour, boom, you get pushed into the subway. They had it last week. Hitting them in the head with baseball bats while they're not looking, punching old ladies in the face, knocking them unconscious and stealing their purse. They even break into apartments and rape elderly women and beat up elderly men, beat them to hell. And I don't want these violent repeat offenders in our country any more than I want illegal aliens from other countries who misbehave. And I say, and this is subject to getting it approved, but if they've been arrested many, many times, they're repeat offenders by many numbers, I want them out of our country. I also will be seeking permission to do so. We're going to get approval, hopefully, to get them the hell out of our country along with others. Let them be brought to a foreign land and maintained by others for a very small fee as opposed to be maintained in our jails for massive amounts of money, including the private prison companies that charge us a fortune. Now let them be brought out of our country and let them live there for a while. Let's see how they like it. You'll see crime all over the country dry up. Essentially, that's what Venezuela and other countries are doing. They're getting rid of their criminals and putting them into the United States of America. And their crime is down by almost 80%. We're going to restore law and order in America, and we want to bring back the death penalty for these horrible people that kill people.
Death penalty.
It's always a tough thing to say, but nobody likes it. But if you don't do it, we're just looking for trouble.
Okay, so now I'm gonna get some precepts. Okay, just a few of them. It's been long enough, and it's funny just thinking about how they can easily do this and the way the entertainment going. It reminds me of the movie The Running Man, and in that movie, which I could have pulled it up, but whatever. They had where Schwarzenegger wouldn't kill massacre a bunch of people, but instead they pinned it on him anyway. Hey, Jake is the most oppressed, man. We're the ones that get pulled over the most, get harassed the most. They went from being shot unarmed in the last presidency, and it's been going on. Okay, but how much more now? He said repeat offenders. So that there's going to be a heavy amount of Negroes because Negroes fill up prisons as well, along with Hispanics and Natives, whether they're citizens or not. Okay, but that goes for all the criminals. He'll gladly take Jake out to take out the other nations as well, other criminals as well. All right. So anyway, this is particularly about Jake though. So this is Jeremiah 30. I'm gonna start at verse 3. It says, "For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, the northern and southern kingdom, saith the Lord Yahweh." And he said, bring again, he's going to bring it to mind, a decision on it, right? This is where we get freed. It says, "And I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, the land of Israel, and they shall possess it," right? And that's in the kingdom of heaven. It says, "And these are the words of the Lord Yahweh, that the Lord Yahweh spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah," both nations, your Negro, Latinos, and natives, okay? All those same people, and as well as the Israelite foreigners scattered amongst the heathen. They may even look like the heathen, right? It says, "For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace." So what she's telling you about, don't worry, hey, don't listen to that. This is a time that you gotta be aware, man. You got to be awake to this thing. And I don't mean woke. You got to keep your eyes open to this thing. The scriptures tell us to be circumspect, okay? To wake up spiritually and start to see with that eye salve. All right, it says, ask now and see whether a man do travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness? Yeah, because the times will be so perilous, so dangerous, so evil, okay, that people will be afraid. Even men. Men will be afraid in these times. It's going to be so bad. Okay? And you think these grown Hispanics are nervous? They're not even showing up to work. Okay, some have already just deported themselves. Just so they don't go through it, so they can at least walk back with their families. Okay, instead of being separated in whatever other situation, right? It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And who's that he? The remnant. Okay, the elect shall be saved out of it. Okay, those that are called into this thing and chosen for salvation at the end of this thing, that will endure all things, all conditions of the world, you know, in fear and in the name and in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right. Baruch 3, verse 8. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, wherein thou hast scattered us, and we're scattered, and we don't even know we're the same nation. We got our own people talking against ourselves. Okay? Hispanic against Native, Native against Hispanic, Black against Hispanic, Black against Native, and vice versa all the way around. Okay? Finding reasons to hate each other instead of finding reasons to identify and connect with each other. For a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments. All right? Because we have to make these payments just to have livelihood, man. It sounds good, like you can be able to work and then you get a little money and then you're all right, but that's not how this works. This setup is different, man. You have to be able to have a car. You got to have payments on a car. You got to pay insurance. You got to pay your taxes. You got to pay your rent. You got to buy food. You can't just buy a piece of land. It don't just work that way. Okay? And you just be on your own tip. No, it don't work that way. Okay? Society's set up to where we're all in a system to have to continue to buy payments. And we barely make enough. How is it that we're just below the poverty line? And somehow every month Jake somehow hustles and figures it out to barely get above it. Or when you finally get a situation above it, inflation and what, you just can't ever get to even, man. Get your head above water. Because this is punishment from the Father. Okay, so according to all the iniquities of our fathers which departed from the Lord Yahweh our power, and that's why we're going through this. All right, we go through this because this is a punishment situation, and the kingdom of heaven is going to be complete opposite. By that meaning, we're going to have abundance, and before we could ever ask for it, we're already going to have it. But the best part of it, it's all going to be based in righteousness, because everything right now is based in wickedness, from what we want to what we ask for to what we pursue, to who's giving it to us or who's divvying it out if we can have it or not. It's all based in chasing wickedness on this side and vanity. Okay, we're gonna in the best part about the kingdom of heaven, and that's what the Hebrew Israelites are out there now trying to push forward, is the connection to our power, Yahweh. Okay, the God of the universe, the God that's written in the Bible. Okay, in His true Spirit through His only begotten Son. All right, Jeremiah 50 verse 33 says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah, both kingdoms, northern and southern, were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. And this man Esau at the end, he's really refusing to let us go. Okay, so he's not going to just let us get a pass, man. The deporting is one angle of this. The heavier thing is when we're sent to another country, sent to another land, sent somewhere else that we can't leave. We're going to serve slavery in these other places. Okay? Whether it be a concentration camp, FEMA camp, or whatever. Okay? This is a situation that can easily, take you over. Okay? This is going to happen for some people. Thus saith the scriptures. Revelation, the 2nd chapter, verse 10 says, some of you will be cast into prison. Okay? So this is a reality, man. If you ain't in the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, you better inquire and get in there, man. And build up this foundation of understanding and faith and belief ASAP. All right? Revelation 12. And actually, I'm going to read verse 12. Then I'm going to jump up. Okay, it says, rejoice, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth he have but a short time. And so he's going to bring it in a really rough, wrathful way, draconian way, okay, in these last days. And the system he has set up to when this is all out chaotic and it seems all sloppy and everything, he'll clean it up with his NWO, man, with the MOT to the B, the image of the MOT to the B and the MOT to the B, see him implant in you, or those that are desirable for it. Okay, that can get into the system, that aren't cast into these prisons and thrown into other lands and deported or whatever else. Those that are able to stay here. Okay, so all this situation will be the climate in the earth, man. Now, when you read up in the 10th verse, particularly it says, and now, and I heard with a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power. And with this truth is where it's really starting from. Okay? That's where this really starts at, is with this truth. Okay? But now the prophecies are being fulfilled. Okay, so that's part of it coming, but then we're also going to see Yahushua in the sky coming. We're going to hear the news of World War III. Okay, and all the prophecies are now lining up, and the awakening is happening. The great awakening even is happening. Okay, and then even the power of they should be willing to dare thy power, so we'll even get spiritual power eventually, right? It says, but here's the key. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And that's what he would do. Look at the children of Israel. Look, they're criminals. They got the worst numbers. When you go to some of these other websites, the more right-wing websites and social media platforms, man, it gets brutal over there. When you're reading them comments, man, you get pissed. It's like watching Mississippi burning or something, man. This shit pisses you off. Seeing the perspective of how this plays out, of how E and his people, and even some of you bird-brained Negroes like that woman, still take that slave mentality mindset, as they take the slave master mindset still. Okay? This is what's happening. Now, when you go into this word, I'm going to go to the blue letter. Okay, in Revelation 12, the word is accuser. Okay. Cast down. Oop. Did I miss it? No, it's coming down. Accuser, categoreo. Okay, categoro. Categoros, accused. Okay. Let's go to that 2725. G. Go there first. Which says accuser. Accuser. Okay. Against one in the assembly, a complaint at law, especially Satan, accuser. And Satan just means adversary, by the way. Okay. Accuser. With categoros, okay, goes right into categories. This is categoreo for accuser. Okay, to accuse before a judge, to make an accusation of an extrajudicial accusation. This is G2723, so it's just a couple off from it. Okay, and it has categoros as the root word. This is categoreo, This is the act of it, like the verb version of it, okay? To charge with some offense. Okay, and what do you think they're going to do? They're going to try to find a way to charge with some offense. Why? Because he still has an inner hatred for you Negro, Latino, and Native Americans. You're the children of Jacob. You're the children of Israel. He still hates you because of the birthright we're promised. Okay? This is still what's going on. This still plays out in the earth. Okay? This man still hates you. All right? Categoreo, still. The word category goes into it. Okay, violent offender, non-believer, revolutionary, criminal. Okay? They put all that into a thing, but then the real banksters, as they would say, or the real killers are over there massacring and slaughtering people. They go into the Bohemian Grove and they do their thing over there to get all the blood of children and whatever else. All the ones that's really guilty, they said they hold themselves not guilty. They're not in trouble as other men. Okay, according to the scriptures. All right, so all these things are going on, but it's because he has the power to do it. The power is in his might to do it. Okay, but also because he has an inner hatred from the beginning. And this is the story of Isaac and Jacob and Esau. Okay, about time to give the blessing is the end of Isaac's life here. And he's giving out the blessing. All right, now when you go to the 25th chapter, you'll see that the prophecy that was told to Rebekah was for the younger, which when they were born, it was Jacob was the younger, Esau was the elder. The tradition was for the elder to get the birthright. Okay, but then they even went down, so that said that. Then it got to the point where Jacob was cooking, and he couldn't wait. So he's like, man, I even sell my birthright to get this food. Well, Jacob suggested, hey, sell your birthright, let me get that. And he did. He gave him the food. He rose up and bounced, and despised his birthright in his heart. So when you get to 27, he forgot he just wanted to have his cake and eat it too. Well, you get up there and it's like, hey, you don't get it all. That's really my birthright. So Rebekah set him up to where, Isaac asked E to go and hook up his favorite meal. So E went to go get it fresh. In that same moment, Rebekah helped Jacob dress up like Esau, hooked up the meal that he was about to cook, fed him with it, and then was able to bless him. And Isaac, his eyes were, he was going blind. He couldn't really see well. So, hey, he wasn't sure. He tried to double check, but the prophecy was still for him to give that blessing unto Jacob. Okay? And so when Esau returned and he realized that he already gave the blessing away, that he wasn't going to get that blessing, and Isaac pulled something out and gave him something, and, gave him something, an offering, a blessing, if thou can't tell, right? He gave him something. It's right here what he gave him. 39, then I read down to 40. It says, matter of fact, let me read up because he wept about it. 37. Where is it? 36 where he wept at. Yeah, he cried like a little. 38, it's to the point, 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Okay? And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke off thy neck. I mean, you'll be free of the blessing he'll have over you, and you'll be able to rule over him. And when you look at the history, he actually ruled in the time of the Greeks. Okay, it was part of that image in Daniel, and also the Romans. Then the Romans went down, and then they was rebirthed with the deadly sword that was healed. Okay, the wound by a deadly sword that ended up being healed. That beast came back, and this is the rest of the Roman Empire. Okay, so they had all these times to rule. Okay, consecutively. Okay, but there's an end to their kingdom. and he knows it, right? And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him, jealous. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So he's still trying to fulfill that. So everything that happens in the earth today that's been happening between the Edomites, even though they tried to hide themselves, but you can tell one of the monikers is that the Edomites are always trying to slay Jacob. And when you know who certain people on the earth are always trying to slay, that the Edomites are always trying to slay Jacob, just like the so-called white man is always trying to slay you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, so we can see this a mile away, that this is going to come down and be a form of trouble that's going to happen. All it's going to take is for a foreign troop to not care who they're rounding up and to take an American citizen. Okay? It's not implausible to happen, man. Okay? I see it too vividly for this to happen. I've had dreams about things like this, and many brothers have as well, and sisters have as well. Okay, this is something that you can see, and there's movies about it and all kinds of things, shows, okay, about the type of climate that'll be going on. And if you're not assimilated to the system by taking an MAR to the K in Revelation, the 13th chapter, hey, it's going to be hell for you. All right, so anyway, just bringing that out. Lord willing, this was edifying. I'll give all praise and glories unto Yahweh, Bashim Ashai, Bashim Rachak Wadash. Until the next one, Shalom.